So I thought we could start lying down, so you'll be pleased about that. So lie down in any comfortable position, and of course if you can't hear me, just give me a wave or write a message at the bottom at any point. But I've got my microphone on, so you should be able to hear when I lie down. So we're just going to lie down. Knees can be up, or you can just lie straight on the floor. And take a couple of deeper sighs and just feel the relief of lying down. You could just turn the head from side to side gently. Just to soften the neck a little bit. And then just leave the head to the left-hand side and kind of lift the head and turn it right around. So you're right on the left-hand side of your head and you're getting a nice stretch on the right side of the neck. And your arm is reaching away from you anyway, so the right arm is reaching away. So you've got a bit of length in the right shoulder and neck. And then just send about 3 breaths into that side. And then bring the head back to the center. And put the head around to the right hand side, so you're kind of almost on the right ear. And then just 3 gentle breaths into the left hand side of the neck. Left arm reaching away. And then bring the head back to the center, and we'll bring the hands down by the side of the body, and as you inhale, take the arms up and overhead to the floor behind you. And then as you exhale, sweep along the floor all the way back to the hips, so you're drawing a nice big circle. Arms come back up on the inhalation, and exhale, sweep the hands along the floor back towards the hips. So a few times like this, just opening up the chest and the armpits and the shoulders. And let the movement take just as long as the breath takes. And we'll do one more. And we'll finish with the arms resting up and resting on the floor behind you. And then if you have the knees bent, then stretch the legs away from you and just take a nice full body stretch, reaching through the fingers, reaching through the toes, pointing the feet away from you. And then you can just relax everything on the out breath and take one more full stretch through the body. And relax. And then we'll just we'll take the left foot all the way to the left hand side of the mat and the right foot over there, and cross the left foot over the right foot, and then reach the hands over to the left side as well. So I'm holding onto my right wrist and drawing it over to the left hand side. So essentially I'm bending towards the left hand side and I've got a nice stretch in the right hand side. And then 3 breaths there. Arms are resting back on the floor. So fairly relaxed posture. Whole of the back of the body is still lying on the floor. And then come back to the center and shuffle over to the other side. So right foot goes right the way to the right hand side, and we cross the right foot over the left and draw the left wrist over. So we're bending towards the right hand side. Nice stretch in the left. And then just coming back to the center. Bring the knees in and let's just hug the knees in. And you might just want to rock from side to side or do a few circles there. Going in both directions with your circles. And then just hug the knees right in. So you inhale here and then exhale to bring the nose up towards the knees. And then inhale to rest the head back down again. And exhale to come up. So just a few times with your own breath. And then this time just hug in and hold the position. You might want to rock from side to side again. And then rest the head back down again. And we'll send the legs up towards the ceiling. So stretching the feet towards the ceiling. And then we're just going to lower the right foot towards the floor and bring it back in. And lower the left foot towards the floor. So we're just cycling the legs like you're riding a bike in the sky. So both legs are kind of moving at the same time and you're extending one towards the floor as you draw the other one in. And you can really slow this movement down or speed it up as suits you. And then change the direction of your cycling so that you're reverse cycling now. Drawing the lower belly in. And really trying to extend one leg straight as you extend it. Just to challenge the lower belly a little bit. And then bring both knees in. Extend the feet upwards again. And an extra challenge if you want to, lowering the heels down just about, say, 60 degrees. So we're just holding on with the lower belly and lifting up again and hugging the knees in. And one more time, sending the feet up towards the ceiling and then lowering down just until your stomach muscles switch on and then holding, lifting up and then hugging in. And then we'll just hug all the way in again and roll over onto the side and come up to kneeling. So we'll just take a downward dog stretch to stretch out the backs of the legs. A very gentle stretch into both hamstrings. And a nice sort of counter pose for what we just did. We could lift the right leg up nice and high and drop the foot towards the buttock so that you're opening the hip out. So the knee points towards the ceiling and you can look out underneath the right armpit. And then bring the foot back down again and we'll go on the other side. So left foot lifts up. Fold the knee so the foot comes towards the buttock and then point the knee up towards the ceiling. And you can look underneath the left armpit. And then come back down. Come back down to kneeling. And come to sit on the heels for a child's pose. forehead relax. So let's come back up to a kneeling posture. So we're kneeling and sending the right foot out to the side with the right hand on the hip. So you might want some padding under the left knee. Or if the knee's too painful, you could do this one standing as well. So the left arm will reach out towards the side and start to create nice big circles as you reach down towards the right foot. Sweep along the floor and out towards the side. And just feeling all of the stages of this circle. A side stretch, maybe a stretch in the inner groin. And we'll just do one more circle. And then take the hand to rest on the floor. So you're creating a long line between the left hand, the knee, and the right foot. And reaching up with the right hand. You could lift the right foot if you want a little strengthening in the right hip there. And aiming to get it around hip height, the foot. Let the foot be nice and active so that the toes are pointing back towards you. And then if you want to, you could fold the foot behind you, take hold of it with the right hand and point the knee away so you get the stretch on the front of the leg. And then put your foot back down in that position. If you fancy an extra challenge, take the hand to the hip, press into the right foot, and we're going to straighten the underneath the left leg. I'll show you. So it goes in front of that foot. So it's a side plank, and we're reaching the right arm all the way up. So if the wrist feels happy, reaching the left foot in front of the right foot, lifting the hips nice and high, and then bring the top hand down towards the floor, and we're going to navigate into some sort of downward dog somehow, just to ease out. And doing that, you can lift the wrist and just give it a turn a couple of times if you need to ease out the wrist, or you can come back to child's pose if that feels too much. So let's do that anyway, sitting back on the heels and come back to child's pose. And from there you can rotate the wrists a little bit. Just bending in and out. Lengthen the fingers away from you so you have the armpits open towards the floor. And then we'll come back up to our kneeling position and just go to the other side. So it'll be the right knee that we're kneeling on and the left foot that's extended out towards the side. So you got the left hand on the hip and the right arm sweeps out towards the side, up and overhead, to create your nice big circles. Taking time just to savor all the little parts of the movement. And just one more circle there. And then we'll come to rest the right hand on the floor. So you're in that nice long line again, and you can lift the left arm towards the ceiling. And then if you wanted to take it a little further, you could lift the left foot up, drawing the toes towards you so you're pushing out with the sole of the foot. And then we could get that stretch on the front by holding onto the foot behind you. So the left knee is pointing away from you. And just lift the hips forward slightly to explore the stretch. And then we just set the foot back down again. Now it's our side plank. If you wanted to go for that option, just pressing into the left foot, and we'll send the right foot in front of the left foot, reaching up with the left hand and lifting up the side of the body. So you've got a nice strong posture, pressing into the right hand. And then we'll bring the left hand back down to the floor, turn around into our downward dog, and then you can lift the right hand off and just ease through the wrist a little bit if you need to. So we'll bend both knees deeply and then kind of lift and roll through the spine. So you're lifting up the back and coming forwards into a plank position, bending the knees and coming backwards and coming forwards and rolling your back forward. So it's like a rolling cat, but in the dog pose. So you're just leading with the top of your back as you come forwards, and then just opening up the spine. And then we'll come to the plank position and stay there and let the knees come down and comes onto the tops of the feet and let the hips just sink down. So you can draw the chest forwards and lift up the chin. And then just come back into your child's pose. Just letting the breath ease the lower back out. And you could just roll the head from side to side to massage all across the temple, all across the forehead, sorry. And then just lift up the head. And we'll come up onto both knees, kneeling high, with the hands together at the heart. And we'll do our moon salutations. So we're going to start with stepping the right foot forwards, so you're in a lunge. And you can make it an upright lunge like this, or you could sink forwards a little bit if you want to, so that you keep the inner thighs working towards each other, but you're getting a bit longer of a lunge. And then 3 big circles with the arms. So hands come together at the heart, reaching up, and then circling all the way down. And then the hands come together at the heart. And then exhale to press the hands away from you. And inhale to look to the left. Exhale to come back to the center. And inhale to look to the right. Exhale to come to the center. And left arm reaches up, right arm reaches down. Exhale. Inhale to reach the right arm up. Exhaling. Inhale to bring both hands up, reaching back slightly. And then exhale, the hands come down to the floor. And then stepping the right foot back, sitting back on the heels and looking between the hands, so we can do that rolling cat. Draw the chest low and through the hands and press up. And come back to sit on the heels. So it feels that the chest is creeping along the floor, and then you can arch the back as you sit back onto the heels. And then sitting back on the heels just briefly before we come back up to kneeling with the hands at the heart. And then it will be the left foot forwards. So just getting your lunge position stable. And then inhale 3 nice big circles. And then inhale to press the palms together at the heart. And exhale to press out. Inhale to turn to the right. And exhale back to the center. Inhale to the left. And exhale to the center. Inhale to reach the right arm up. And exhale to the center. Inhale to reach the left arm up. And exhale to the center. Inhale to reach both hands up, interlace the fingers and reach up, looking up towards the hand. And then exhale, the hands come to the floor, bring the left knee back and sit back on the heels. Looking between the hands, draw the chest through the hands and press up, rolling back. Just 3 times, and then we'll sit back on the heels and rest the forehead down. So from here, we'll tuck the toes under and come to a downward dog again. And just extend the legs and shake away from you. Oh. So just shaking one foot up nice and high, and then the other. And then we'll walk the feet to the front of the mat and just end up folding forwards, knees bent still, and shaking the head yes and no a few times. And then just shimmy the shoulders a little bit so that you can really loosen all across the back of the shoulders and the neck. Feel that you could shake the cheeks out. So you could just shake the cheeks and let them be really loose. And then just sweep the arms out towards the side and come up to standing posture with the hands at the top. Exhale the hands to the heart. And then we'll inhale to reach the hands up. And interlace the fingers, pointing the forefingers, and we'll bend to the right hand side. Just get a couple of breaths into that side of the body. Inhale to the center and exhale to the left. Inhale to the center and then exhale to sweep the hands back down again. And we'll just loosen the shoulders out with some swinging. You can rock a little bit on the feet if you want to. And then we could do that wood chopping pose. So you can come all the way forwards with a strong exhalation. One more. And then we'll just come back up and roll the shoulders back, and we'll interlace the hands behind the back and draw the knuckles towards the floor so you've got straight arms, and kind of reach the neck out of the shoulders so that the shoulders are nice and low. And we just lift up the hands as we fold forwards. Maybe releasing the crown of the head towards the floor, maybe lifting the hands a little higher overhead. You can keep the knees bent unless you're feeling stretchy in the hamstrings. Maybe just shaking no a couple of times, or yes, depending on how the neck feels, just easing out the neck. And then we'll lift up the head and release the hands. And we'll go on the other side. So interlacing the fingers the other way around. Roll the shoulders back and extend the knuckles towards the floor. Drawing the pelvic floor in, and then just easing forwards. Lifting the hands nice and high, as long as it's comfortable-ish. Not too much of a challenge. And then lifting up the head, coming back up to standing. And we'll do one more for the shoulders. So we'll just reach up with the left arm and drop it behind you. And then just tuck the elbow in and the arm in towards the head. And you can just keep that stretch if you want, or if you want to reach towards that hand behind you, you can, or take hold of something. So I use my hair, but if you've got a scarf you can hold on to the back of your t-shirt at the top and the bottom if your hands don't reach. And both sides are going to be completely different. So we're just bringing the energy into the shoulders, so breathing into the tightness. And then just release the hands. And then we'll reach the other way, so right arm up. And then use the left hand to tuck the arm in and tuck the elbow towards the head. And then if you want to, reach for the hand behind you. Keeping the tailbone tucked under and the knees bent so that the lower back doesn't arch out too much. And then releasing. And then just loosening the arms. And we're going to widen the legs a little bit so that the toes are out and the heels are in. And we'll reach up. So it's the goddess pose, and we'll do it with lion's breath. So we'll just do the first one without lion's breath. So taking a deep breath in and exhale to bend the knees and bend the elbows, sinking nice and low. And then the next three, let's add in lion's breath as you come down. Holding a little bit at the top. As you exhale, let the gaze come between the third eye space. Final one, hold the breath a little longer. And hold the breath out at the end. And then standing. And we'll turn the right heel away and turn the left toes away. So the left foot is your front foot. Toes are facing the front of the mat. And we're just going to bend the front knee and take the arms out into a warrior. So left foot is forwards, looking over the left hand. And just finding some grounding in that position. And then come to rest the left elbow on the top of the leg and reach up and over with the right arm.
And we're going to sweep that hand to the floor. The right hand comes to the floor and the back heel turns up so that you're in a long lunge, and the left arm reaches up behind you so that you're in a revolved lunge. We're going to come back up through the warrior, so you come back up to standing, and then shuffle backwards on the mat a bit we're going to do a little half moon balance. So find something that you might rest your hand on in front of you, or the floor, but a chair edge or the wall or something. So it's the one where we come forwards and we're kind of sideways, the right hand is on the hip, and you're reaching towards your balancing object, whether it's the floor or a chair or the wall, and lifting the right leg up with the foot extending to the side. And you can be gazing towards the floor, or you could gaze towards the side, which challenges the balance a little bit. You could raise the right arm up, lift the foot nice and high and draw the toes towards you, and then come back up to standing and ease out, however suits you. So you might just want to circle the hips, you might just want to shake the standing leg a little bit. Okay, so we will go to the other side. We'll start with the warrior two. So the right foot would be the front foot. And bend the knee. And extend the arms out so you're gazing over the right middle finger. Right knee is bent, right arm is forwards. Feeling that you could root down to the earth in this position through the tailbone and through the heels. And then just coming to rest the elbow on top of the leg so you can reach all the way over with the left arm. And then take that left hand towards the floor and swivel on the back ball of the foot so that you can reach the right arm up. So you're in a long lunge, looking towards the back. And the back leg is nice and straight. The right arm is up towards the ceiling. And then coming back up through your position to standing. And we'll shuffle back a little bit so you can take your half moon balance on this side. So the right foot is your standing balancing foot. The left hand comes to your hip, and then we're reaching for where we're going to balance. And then possibly gazing up towards the side. Whoa. Possibly lifting the left hand out towards the side, or out towards the ceiling, sorry. And then just landing down whenever you are ready. And easing out. So maybe just rotate ankles a little bit. And then we're going to come down through a squat, an Indian squat. So we'll bring the hands to the heart, and I have the feet sort of 1 foot in from mat width, and we're coming down with the heels on the floor or the heels on a book or a block, and then just kind of wedging that upper arms in between the knees, lengthening the tailbone towards the floor. Let the third eye rest on the fingers, on the forefingers or the middle fingers, with a gentle kind of stroking. So just to apply a little bit of pressure here to bring the focus in. Feel free to land down on the floor when you've had enough of this position. We'll just be a couple more breaths otherwise. And then we'll come down to seated and extend the legs away from you. So let's just rub the legs a little bit. And we'll take the legs wide for a wide angle seated position. So we'll lift up the buttocks. And then we're just going to lift up the arms as well. And then turn towards the left foot. And we're just going to take the left hand behind you and hold onto the outer thigh with the right hand. So you're holding onto the outside edge of the left thigh with the right hand. And you're looking over the left shoulder, or we're looking to the left. So that you're in a seated twist with the legs wide. So just notice that the right hip kind of wants to turn as well. So draw the right hip back towards the floor so that your hips are quite square. We'll just do a couple more breaths here. And then looking back to the center, let's bring the hands back up. And then over to the right hand side. So the left hand is on the outside edge of the right thigh. And the right hand is propping you up so you can look round to the right. And again, just notice the left hip and draw it back towards the floor if it's turning inwards. So just tiny little movements in this position as you're breathing, just readjusting so that you're breathing in to lengthen the spine and you're breathing out to twist further. So it's just a thought really rather than an action. One more breath there. And then back to the center. We'll just sit in the wide-legged position. If that feels tender underneath the knees, you can put some cushions underneath there or blankets. So if we're sitting in this position, you could be propped up behind you like this, or you could reach forwards and fold forwards. Or you could reach to the big toes and take hold of them. So wherever you feel suits you best in this position. Just another 2 breaths. And then lifting up the head. Bring one leg in and then the other together. And we could just bend the knees. Hug the knees in and we'll take the little cosmic egg hug. We're hugging the knees in and the forehead towards the knees and balancing with the toes up off the floor. And from that position, you can lift the head and just take hold of the backs of the thighs and lift the feet. So we've got our Navasana boat pose. Possibly reaching out the hands, possibly lengthening the legs away from you, and then hugging the knees back in. Really straightening the spine up, tucking the chin in. So we do that one more time, the boat pose. So holding onto the backs of the thighs and lifting the feet. And then extending away from you. Holding for about 3 breaths. And then hugging the knees in. Drawing the spine up nice and tall and tucking the chin in. And then let's come onto the back of the body again. And lie down with the knees hugged in. So just a few moments here to ease out on the floor, however you would like to. Whether you want to just hug the knees in and do some circles, or drop the knees from side to side, or anything that you feel that you need to realign the spine again in this lying position. And then we'll bring the knees into that hugged position and take the arms out in a T shape and lift the heels. So the knees are directly above your hips and the feet are out in a right angle. So it's slightly more effort than just hugging the knees in. And then as you exhale, let the knees and the shins come towards the floor, but not touch down. And inhale to come up. And exhale to lower down. So you're holding the legs in this right angle position and just using the core to control the movement down towards the floor and back up again. If you feel like an extra challenge, you could straighten the legs and do this position. We'll go one more time down to the right and we'll settle on the left hand side next time you get there. So let the knees come all the way down to the floor, relax the feet, and then shuffle the back and back of the shoulders onto the floor a little more. So knees are down to the left hand side. I'm going to reach the right arm up and look towards my right armpit. So this is just for some prana into the shoulder if the shoulders are feeling quite tight. It might feel uncomfortable. You could have like a cushion under the arm or something, or keep the arms out in a T shape if it really doesn't feel right there. If you do have the arm up and it feels okay, you'll notice heat building up in the armpit and in the shoulder. And then by looking towards the right armpit, you're kind of getting a bit of a stretch on the neck as well. Another 2 breaths. And bring the head back to the center and bring the knees back up to the center. And we'll go from side to side again as we did, lowering the knees down one more time to each side before we settle on the right hand side.
So letting the knees rest down. You might want to take hold of the legs with the right hand. And again, the option is to lift the right arm up so it's extending out overhead and turn to look towards the left armpit. Another 3 breaths. And then we'll come back to the center. And then just tuck the tailbone under so the lower back flattens onto the ground. And you could just do that a couple of times, just flattening the back onto the ground. And that's the beginning of the movement for the bridge. So you can either stay with those really micro movements, or if you want to lift the pelvis up for the bridge, you're welcome to. You might like to just hold the bridge position up. Possibly interlacing the hands underneath you to get that extra height, and pressing into the feet so that the hips are lifted. And then rolling back down. Maybe just dropping the knees from side to side a couple of times. And we will be moving into our shavasana. So just get comfortable on the floor and warm. Perhaps have something under the knees if your lower back is feeling a bit tight. So a couple of deeper breaths, again, to sigh you out onto the floor, to release the tension from the practice. And let go of the sense of doing. We'll do one more practice, a pranayama exercise lying down. It's the nadi shodana, the nostril breathing. And you can just keep the eyes closed and rest the 4 fingers on the third eye space. So you're using the thumb and the ring finger of the right hand to close the nostrils alternately. So 4 fingers are on the third eye space, taking a breath in and a breath out. And then use the thumb to close the right nostril and breathe in. And close both nostrils with the ring finger and the thumb, holding the breath in. And breathe out through the right nostril. Breathe in right. And hold the breath. Breathe out left. Breathe in left. Hold the breath. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. And hold. Breathe out left. In left. Hold the breath. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. Hold the breath. Breathe out left for the final time. And relax the hand down. Return the breath back to normal. And just focusing on the sensations in the body from your practice of nadi shodana. Particularly focusing at the third eye space. So just bring the attention back into the body and take a couple of deeper breaths and just start to wake up. In your own time, just moving onto the side of the body. Making up the neck. And then just come up to seated whenever you're ready. And we'll rub the hands together and rub the wrists. And then just take the warm hands onto the shoulders and let them just settle there. And then just squeezing a couple of times. And we'll just do that again, warm up the hands. And place on the shoulders. Squeezing and giving a little massage all around the area. And down the neck. And for headaches, up into the back of the skull. Massage with the thumb all along the underneath of the skull, that nice curve there. And just get one thumb up into the uppermost point of that arc. Just massaging up into the skull there. And you could massage the whole of the scalp. Waking up, kind of combing. And finish reaching the palms up to the sky, welcoming in the rest of the day. With our hearts open and full of gratitude, drawing the hands together, down to the heart. Namaste.